Meanwhile, in Holland, there is growing anger over the treatment of the bodies of the victims. The Dutch Prime Minister just announced he's sending a team of experts to the crash site to help identify the victims. CCTV's Richard Bestic is live in Amsterdam with the latest there. Richard.
Susan, that team is made up of Dutch forensic experts. They are charged with the grim task of going to the crash site and identifying the remains of those victims on board MH17 and with the ultimate goal of bringing them home for burial. However, in a series of conversations I've had with the Dutch Foreign Ministry over the day, they're not holding out a lot of hope for high levels of cooperation with the rebels who control the land around the crash site. It's got to be said that the anger here in Holland over the repatriation of the remains and the way the bodies are being treated by the rebels is a cause of growing anger. This is evidenced by church services across the land, still a country very much in deep mourning. In memorial services across the country, the people of Holland are remembering those who died in the tragedy of MH17. Considerably more than half of the 298 people on board were Dutch. Their deaths felt here at a very personal level. Mourners in St. John's Cathedral in the southern Netherlands lit a candle for each of the dead. For its part, the government sent a team of 8 DNA experts to the Ukraine to begin the process of identifying the dead. Speaking in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, Dutch Foreign Minister Frans Timmermans has demanded full cooperation from rebel groups at the crash site for his teams working alongside the OSCE, the Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe.
The OSCE in place, and they have been instrumental in creating a situation where our experts can possibly be active there with the consent of the separatists. But we will have to judge the situation day by day because they have made promises before, which they have not held. So we need to be very careful. My first and foremost priority is my humanitarian duty to bring back the bodies of the Dutch people who were killed to the Netherlands.
As the floral tributes continue to be laid here at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, from where MH17 took off on its doomed flight, there's a growing anger among people at the way the rebel groups have been seen to treat the bodies of the dead.
I'm so angry. The way they treated these bodies, it's incredible. They are barbarians.
Do you share that anger?
Yeah, I think we're all angry in Holland, very angry. Because what's happening there is appalling. It's not human.
There can be no time frame attached to the work of the Dutch forensics teams. It all depends on the access they get to the crash site, and that, in rebel-held territory in the middle of a bloody and chaotic civil war, is difficult beyond belief. For a nation very much grieving their many dead, it can only add to the hurt. Susan, all this has led to increased pressure on the Russian President, Vladimir Putin. Earlier, 3 of the most powerful leaders of the European Union, Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel, the French President Francois Hollande and the UK's Prime Minister David Cameron were in conference calls and all phoned independently and separately at the President of the Russian Federation, calling on him to use the influence he believes he has, they believe he has, over the rebels. Downing Street in London is saying that the Russian president was given a 48-hour deadline. Now, that 48 hours would take us to a summit of foreign ministers in Brussels on Tuesday, when, if there's no reply from Moscow, we can probably expect a further round of sanctions against Russia. Susan.
Richard Bestic reporting live from Amsterdam. Thank you for that.